Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Tom Arnold and Derek Binder to discuss our playtime with Yoshi Woolly World at E3 2014. So let's get started. Alright guys, so Yarn Yoshi's finally back, but not quite in the same form that we saw about 2 years ago. They updated the art style, they changed the name, and they changed how it plays completely, at least based on what little we could tell at the time. I've gotta say, I was actually surprised by this. I really enjoyed this game. I think primarily because it plays like a Yoshi's Island game, only without Baby Mario, for the most part. So yeah, let's go ahead and start off with you, Derek. What was your overall impression of this game?
It was really good. It was great to see Yarn Yoshi come back, and you're right, it does look completely different. The real world elements are gone. Yoshi no longer eats somebody and then becomes bigger, or whatever he did in the original trailer. And
right.
And he just played really well, and it actually is. It's not just like taking Yoshi and sticking him in Kirby's Epic Yarn.
No.
This is like a very very different style of yarn game, I guess. Probably the biggest change is that you can die,
which is kind of like, to me, I find that like to be a big important change.
Yeah.
I like that.
People complained about Kirby's Epic Yarn being too easy, and I definitely agree with that. You had to sort of make your own challenge by like trying to collect all the beads and whatnot
without losing them.
Without losing them, and there's where the challenge came in. But you had to make it yourself. With Yarn Yoshi, you have a life counter. If you fall off the edge, you will die, and if it's two-player, you'll come back as an egg. There was no life counter in the demo, but you'll come back as an egg, and you can come back. You can get revived that way. But if both of you die, you'll actually get sent back to a checkpoint. And there are hard counters that you can find in order to increase. It's sort of like the it's sort of like how with Baby Mario, you can increase how long you have until you have to pick him up. Just in, this time it's hearts. So it's very well done, plays great, and it looks to have a bit more challenge than Epic Yarn.
From the presentation, I loved how Nintendo was making different characters out of yarn itself. So it reminded me of Tearaway when they would make everything in that game out of paper. Too bad we'll probably not get a tie-in Yarn Yoshi.
I know, I wanted that. When I saw him making it, I was like, oh, I hope they're handing that out at the show floor.
Right. I don't care if it takes 20 hours to make. But I loved how Yoshi, for instance, when he was trying to hover jump a bit, his feet actually turned into a propeller out of yarn. You could use
or when he's running, they turn into wheels.
Yeah. And stuff like that, or when you're trying to get a secret and pulling on yarn in the world, you can actually sort of unthread the yarn like super quick. Stuff like that makes it extremely charming, and it's one that, unless somehow they really screwed up, I'm definitely going to pick up when it comes out.
Yeah, you brought up some points there. Like, basically, to me, this game feels a lot more faithful to Yoshi than Kirby's Epic Yarn did to Kirby. Like, here, everything makes sense. Yoshi uses his tongue to, unravel things. Or when he makes eggs now, from enemies, they turn into he turns them into little yarn balls.
You can even get bigger yarn balls at times to add them in. So there is some variety there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even just like taking out enemies. Sometimes they'll get unraveled, but like with piranha plants, you'll tie them up, and that way you can actually jump on them.
Oh yeah. I mean, to clarify, you can throw an egg at them, right? And it'll tie up the piranha plant, basically stunning it briefly.
And most importantly, you can eat your co-op partner.
that is crucial. As soon as I got to the demo station, the rep there was like, "Hey, so just so you know, you can eat your teammate." I'm like, "Well, hell yeah, you should have told me that. So I'm gonna do the entire time. I'm gonna eat you and then just spit you off the ledge or something."
Yeah, from my playtime, this is definitely gonna be a big troll game. Like, if you love trolling your friends and not making any progress whatsoever, then you'll love this game, because the guy I don't know if it was by accident or he was trying to do it, but he was constantly eating me and just spitting me right off a ledge. I could not stay alive to save my life, and I would try to get him back. And what's really cool is like it's not just eating and spitting them out. You can actually swallow them and make them an egg that goes to the front of your line and then just toss them places.
Well, and the cool thing is you can actually, it's not just a troll move. I mean, you can do this to actually further yourself in the game. You can actually, use your teammate to your benefit, to everyone's benefit, really.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of secrets that you might have to do that for, so...
I think all of us can agree this is like the next step up from Epic Yarn.
I mean, Epic Yarn, I loved how it looked, didn't like how it played, so yeah, it really is. I mean, it's Yoshi's Island with a yarn visual appearance.
Yeah, and it really played wonderful, and it looked gorgeous. Every little bit just works so well.
Well, I love how like he's actually like a full figure now, actually like created fully out of yarn, as opposed to the original appearance where he was mostly an outline for the most part.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when he ate somebody. He was an outline at first, and he ate somebody and became the full appearance.
Right.
It definitely adds a lot more to it. I love the little. In the third level, they had these little chickens or little sort of chicks.
Penguins, I think, yeah.
Penguins, and you ate it, and then you would shoot it out, and they'd sort of form this long cotton line you can jump on, and then it would kind of disappear.
Well, and that's actually a really good point, because that level played completely differently from the rest for the most part, because instead of throwing eggs around, you were throwing these babies around, which sounds really bad, and and you were creating these walkways. So you had to, it was almost a little bit like the Kirby game that was there. You know, not quite the same, but where you're creating these paths for your character to follow. It was actually more similar to Yoshi Touch and Go, where you created these cloud paths. So that was a cool little mechanic that switched up the gameplay, and I'm wondering if they're gonna do other things like that with the game. Yeah,
if they keep adding more variety like that, keep it fresh. I mean, Nintendo managed to do that in Super Mario 3D World. Maybe they can do it with this Yoshi game too.
Yeah. I do want to clarify that the game. I think we talked about this before. It's a little bit like of a cross between Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Story, because in Yoshi's Story, you get a health meter as well. And that's the element that they carried over from that. But otherwise, this gameplay is just like Yoshi's Island, with the aiming mechanic being just like Yoshi's Island. You being the meter that goes up, or the aiming reticle that goes up and down, and you can even instantly aim upward, for instance, if you hold up before activating the egg. So it really does just feel good. Although now that I think about it, there was one problem I had with the controls, and that's as soon I'm trying to remember exactly, but I think it was as you're throwing an egg, there's a delay before you can jump again. So that kept screwing me over. But I throw an egg, I want to jump, I just run off a cliff, but you can't jump. There's like a huge delay there, and that really was annoying me. So I really hope they tighten that up. But I don't remember that being a problem in past Yoshi games.
I'm sure they'll tighten that sort of thing up, unless they're changing it like. It's a conscious choice. I'm sure.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. That is a conscious choice. So.
Well, you just have to adjust.
I don't want to adjust. I want to play it like how it was.
And it's interesting because coming off of Yoshi's New Island,
how they compare?
It really is just that much better. Like even just this little taste. Like I enjoyed Yoshi's Island Yoshi's New Island more than most.
Well, you gave it 4 out of 5 stars, didn't you?
Yeah. But a lot of people were down with the game. They thought it was really boring, and they just had none of the personality. It just the graphical style didn't work. I mean, I did like the game, but I will fully admit, Yoshi's Woolly World is 10 times better in just every way.
It's a really good thing we don't use stars anymore.
Yeah. So you would say you liked it.
Yes, exactly. I liked Yoshi's New Island, and I kind of appreciate that you don't have to hunt down the same things. You're not looking for the little Starman. You're not.
Right.
The little flowers are still there, I believe.
Well, yeah, there were collectibles in the level. These 3 ribbon type things or something. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, they're sort of like spools.
Right. Yeah, that was it.
You collected. Then you could collect hearts to increase your life meter for the level, and then the flowers, I believe, were the.
Yeah, the flowers get added to the ring at the end, just like in Yoshi's Island. Unfortunately, it didn't do anything in the demo. Same thing with the yarns, with the spools. Even the reps, like, they're just there for now. We don't know what they'll do in the final game, but they'll do something.
Which it's probably unlocking for more levels if it plays anything like Yoshi's Island. So I hope they have something. I hope they have some kind of reward for collecting everything this time, because Yoshi's bad about that.
Well, yeah, I mean
He just eggs you on.
And there are a lot of secrets, from what I could tell. Like, there's still those invisible clouds everywhere. Like, the rep actually knew where a bunch of them were, luckily, and some of them are pretty well hidden.
Yeah, basically, they had 2 clouds beside each other. It's like, when there's 2, there might be a third one in the middle. It's like, how is anyone supposed to know that? Just throw eggs anywhere.
No, Yoshi's just like jump everywhere, like flutter jump, and just try to touch every inch of that level.
Yep.
But no, it was just a lot of fun. Love the animations. I'm kind of curious if they're going to have the little storybook elements that
Yoshi's Story.
Well, yeah, from Yoshi's Story, and even Epic Yarn had it.
Oh, that's true, right?
It had a guy like reading a story for kids and whatnot. It was a very charming little element to it. And I kind of wanted to bring it back just because it fits so well.
Well, that's a good point. Will they explain the yarn, you know, the yarn visuals.
Will they?
Explain it like, because they did the Kirby's Epic Yarn, like, you know, this wizard or whatever turned Kirby into yarn. Will they do the same thing here? Like, will they carry, like, we wondered before if it's going to be part of the same yarn universe or that same enemy. Is he going to be behind this again? Or will they not even bother and just make it, you know, maybe kind of like, same thing with the new Kirby game too, like where he has this clay-like appearance. Are they even going to bother explaining that, or just roll with it?
Nice.
I couldn't care either way, really. I mean, just give me a good game to play.
Yeah. I mean, an explanation in this case isn't that necessary.
It's not necessary, yeah.
It's nice when it happens, but, you know, I don't need it as long as it plays fine. I'm sure. I'm kind of hoping for some return of some classic enemies from Yoshi's Island, because there were some really cool ones. So I'm sure we'll have Yarn Wool Kamek or something like that popping up, because he's sort of like Yoshi's main antagonist.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, Bowser is more of a side character just by being the final boss usually.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any final thoughts or any final things you want to point out that we haven't yet talked about?
I like how the delay and how much time it's been since we've had any information about it
how it paid
has been
off.
justified.
Yeah.
Like, I can, like, as soon as I saw this, it's like, oh, okay, that's why it took a while, because they basically revamped it, and I think for the better.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
No, I totally agree. I'm a huge fan of what they've shown off.
I don't like how it's 2015, but you know, after that huge delay already. But if it pays off in a great game, then so be it. I'll wait.
Yep, I think we all agree there. It'll be worth the wait, even though it's been a long one.
Yeah.
Alright guys, well thanks for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. This is a good way to keep up to date with everything we post, including more discussions and analysis videos coming up very soon. We have tons more of coverage from E3, so stay tuned. And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more on everything I just mentioned and other things gaming too. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.